Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Savage, Dallas, Texas. We've got only 3 races left for the year. You are looking at the men's start line. I am one of your hosts, Matt Davis. On the other side, somewhere in the world, is Bracken Crocker. Bracken, how are you this morning, buddy?
Matt, I'm excited. I am excited.
Well, we've got you want to tell a little bit? We're going to start here in a couple of minutes, but we just got our course briefing. What can the people look forward to today?
First of all, we got a great briefing from Lee, who designed this course, and he talked a bit about his mission for this course. This is a flat, harsh terrain ranch here in Texas. And he followed the old adage where if you don't live in a hilly area on your long run every hill 3 times to get your vert.
Is that what that's not what he said. You made that up.
No, that's something I read when I first started researching mountain running, and it's a genius route. And that's what he's doing on this course. Anytime you find vert, you use it multiple times. And he's taking us through as much bad terrain and as many creek crossings as possible to keep the terrain flowing and shifting.
And then what about water?
Well, he says it's hot. So he's got ice at the stations and he's got creek crossings whenever possible to cool people down. But that's a double-edged sword. You're just going to cool you down, but it's also going to gas you out a little bit.
Well, we're looking at the start line. We see some Grit Fitness. They're located down there in Texas. I think they're going to be well represented. On the women's side, Chris, their biggest star, will be running. And on the men's side, who have we got today?
Well, I think on both sides, you have 2 names that are household names or semi-household names, and then it's wide open for who's going to be joining them. So for the men, you have Victor Quesada and Van Tran. Van is one of those guys who's been around since the inception of obstacle course racing and has never really fully devoted himself to it in order to become that household name. But whenever he dabbles, he does well. And Victor, I think, is quietly building up the resume to take over where Brian Gowiski and Yuri Force used to be, which would be most underrated athlete in the sport.
Okay. Wanted to get
he's been going from Spartan to High Rocks to Savage, and he's always in the mix everywhere he goes. He hasn't had his breakthrough moment, but his most recent High Rocks performance was really, really strong, and I'm excited to watch him here.
All right. We have got the what happened to the lead camera?
Even seeing this section here, like this is not typical cross-country grass running. This ground is rough. There's a lot of divots. It's cattle trampled. So there's always, every time they step in it, it's going to create some sort of divot in there. It's pockmarked earth. And when it's hard and dry like this, those pockmarks, they don't crumble to the side when you step on them. They just roll your ankle. So it's not
Lee, Lee, are we supposed to be seeing the men here?
So the men are immediately going to do a water crossing. So I hop to the other side of the water crossing so I can be ready for them.
Okay.
Right, so I should have Rachel supposed to be filming the start corral right now.
Yeah. No, I just thought we were going to get the trail of as we usually do, but that's okay. Whoa.
Oh, it looks like he's in front of a green screen that's waving in the wind.
Okay, I'm
well, that was pretty groovy.
What was that? What the hell was that? Let's get a quick
shot. I'm not quite sure.
Let's get a quick shot of the win here, getting ready. So we see Meg Julian and that beautiful mohawk over there. She's stretching away. I don't see Chris yet.
Chris, now that she's a world championship podium athlete, is going to stroll in at the last possible second and let everyone know that this is her race. She has to take on that role of, I'll walk up when I'm darn well ready.
All right, here we go.
There she is, right next to Meg.
All right, so here are our first look at the men coming by. Sorry, we missed the first couple. Definitely wave. All right, this looks like the back of the pack. They're going way too slow. What's going on here, Lee? They're showing off for the camera.
I caught every single person here. You just had me on the small view.
I'm sorry, buddy.
The more excited someone is to see a camera, the less likely they are to be leading a race.
Correct.
That's traditional protocol for these style of races.
Right.
Hey, every once in a while you get podium where they'll wave.
That's true.
All right, I'm going to catch up.
All right, go catch us up with the leaders.
Matt, how often have you raced in Texas?
I did, let's see, 2012, I did a Dallas Beast.
Right at the end.
In 2014, I did AT&T Stadium, and I think that might be it.
I always lump Florida and Texas together in my mind.
They are very different.
And yet every time I race there, I get the exact opposite experience. Florida, I come out thinking it is way flatter and tamer than I even remember. In Texas, I always come out thinking I am way more beat up by this flat course and the terrain than I expect it to be. It is a demanding style of flat.
Yeah, I've only been there a couple of times, but no, Florida I've been to a ton.
Yeah, and Texas has everything is rough on this terrain. Even when it's flat, it's not your typical flat course where you can just glide and open up and run. There's always something kind of snagging at you and trying to slow you down a little bit.
So I thought I saw Chris there on the women's side.
Now, this is interesting for Chris because we know how good Chris is, but then she had an OCR World Championship performance that was out of this world. And now she has to show back up and compete in that first competition after your big world championship performance. And we see this in other sports where an athlete at the Olympics or world championships has a breakthrough and then they're never back down to earth again. They just embody that, or they really struggle with that post-championship hangover.
I don't think she's going to have that though.
I'm not trying to incept that into her, but it's a real thing. You never know how someone handles that level of height of success.
Right. Right. Well, I think it's definitely it's definitely a thing. I feel like the competition isn't like he's pointing for us. Are you pointing, Lee, because we're headed towards them?
That competition level is the tricky part where she just gets done beating the best of the best in the entire world. And that mind change of, well, this is lesser in theory, and so it should maybe hurt less and be easier.
All right, who do we got here coming through here? Is that Van? Is that Van out in front?
I think it's Van followed by Victor. Certainly Victor in second, but he's going to make a pass here. He's become such an aggressive, confident runner as his fitness has continued to improve over the years. He has no trouble leading a race.
Getting to this wall at the exact same time. So if Van, what do you think Van's thinking here? If he knows Victor pretty well, right?
Yeah, they've raced each other a lot over the years. If I were Van, looking at Victor, we know that he has no qualms about getting out hard. I would want him to make a mistake and get out too hard. I would encourage him to be too aggressive, and you do that by what he's doing, constantly re-raise his pace changes. But Victor's the eternal optimist. When you talk to him, as I'm sure you have over the years, he's always smiling. He's always positive about things. He always believes it's going to be a positive experience. And he's been putting in so much work over the last year and a half, 2 years, that he has the fitness to back it up now. So he's just becoming even more aggressive. But Van's taking time on every transition right now.
Is the sun doing that to us, or is that me, Bracken?
I don't see how it could possibly be you. It's a trippy effect, though.
No, I saw that looked like Colossus over there in the distance. It can't be that soon. I'm guessing that's going to be later in the race, Lee.
Yes, that's correct. At this point, they're just kind of crossing in front of it.
Matt, I don't want to keep bringing it back to the other race organizations, but I think this Victor's setup right now is interesting, where I believe that building up for a high rocks competition where it's station-based and really power output-based is one of the best kind of base building blocks you can do for an OCR athlete, but it really dulls your sense of transitions. because in that race, you just have to run, stop, do work, and run again. But there's never, ever any need or reason to accelerate quickly or burn a match. And Van right now is doing all the accelerating. He's getting in and out of everything really quickly and putting time on Victor. And Victor's built up a big work capacity, but it looks like he's struggling a little bit to keep up on the skill portions of this course.
Well, Van is just smaller and wirier, right?
Yeah, he's explosive. Victor's powerful, but Van's a little twitchier as an athlete. But clearly he's been working on his running. He's always been great at obstacles, but he has always lost ground on the run. And I would have said coming into this that historically Victor would have been the stronger runner. But right now, Van's taking it to him.
Yeah, and this is what, mile 1 we're looking at here, 9 minutes in?
Yeah. And they're running hard. You can see Victor's working.
Is there anyone close to you, Lee, behind you for third? Sounds like a no. Or are you just going to show us instead? Oh, there we go. There's third.
Now that third place athlete is in range of a restart of an obstacle. If one of those two up there mess up, which is very likely when they're battling like that, they're both pushing pretty close to that redlining area. There's a good chance someone has a screw up. And this terrain really seems to be suiting how quick and nimble Van is.
So the rig is going to be at 22. What's our rig look like today, Lee? 22 of 26. He just metered himself. Lee, did you hear that? I was asking about the rig today.
Reverse. Yeah, so what was your question, Matt?
I said the rig is coming up. It's the 22nd of 26th obstacle. What does it look like today?
Well, I gave a brief preview a little bit earlier, right after we were looking at corral. So we have a lache to start, but the catch, instead of being a fixed catch, is onto a rope, which is good because it gives people, it's easy to grab, and you can kind of hook your feet on it. And then after that, it's a pretty significant gap. It's 48 inches going to sheet from our old Holy Sheet obstacle. From there, they have to kind of swing a little bit to get to the blue cheese board. Now, blue cheese board we've done this time is we fixed it really tight. So instead of being loose and floppy, it'll be much tighter. So it'll be almost like as if it was made out of metal. And then a large transition from there to a ring, going to our slip rings, the ones that kind of go up and down as you lay onto them. The bell, pretty close to the end. They just go up and over that.
We're looking at Chris here with a pretty big lead over whoever else is behind her.
Yeah, and if memory serves, she's not even to mile 1 yet.
No, she's not.
Which means she's embracing that top dog role, and the rest of the field has ceded control of the race to her. She's one of those athletes that, and I think this was highlighted 2 weekends ago as well, that she always looks the same. And I think as broadcasters, we get a little bit too in love with trying to apply people's feelings to how they look in a race, but she has the ability to keep her form like a metronome all day long, no matter what she's going through, uphill, downhill, obstacles, sloppy terrain, smooth terrain. She stays compact and stays on the same type of form the entire time. And that is such a great skill to have in a sport where you can't get too high or too low with your energy reserves.
Are you crawling through that obstacle, or is it, you couldn't be driving through that? That was the low rig, right?
That's Holy Roller. I've crawled through it.
That was very impressive.
A little view of what it's like.
That was very impressive.
All right, we have our first place male approaching. Looking good.
And this low obstacle is only going to give Van more of an advantage. In theory, being smaller in stature means that he's going to move through this quicker and have to use less core engagement to get through it.
Nice work.
This is a rich get richer, poor get poorer obstacle where Victor will be naturally slower and he's going to have to exert more energy to get through it as well. Come out the other side a little bit more depleted.
Nice work. That was the softest bell hit ever. I love it.
So how far are we from getting to that heavy carry?
I'm sorry.
Are we approaching the log carry?
Not yet. We still got a little ways to go. Oh,
Because that, in theory, on paper, is a place where Victor could use some of that power he's built up over his training block to get back into this race.
I'm looking at the map here. What's 6? Squeeze play, kiss my walls, holy roller, pedal for the. What do we just pass?
Holy roller.
The holy roller is the
So
one where you go in
we
between.
just went by Holy Roller. We're now approaching pedal for the middle.
Right. So lumberjack is 10 after pedal for the metal.
So I did a bit of a course reroute because I felt like lumberjack was kind of like out in the open sun too much. I didn't want the waves to be getting dehydrated. So I changed the whole loop and put it in the woods.
Okay.
I like that. So Meg Julian appeared to be in second place, and I couldn't get an eye on who was running third behind her, but was very close behind her.
Meg Julian was third. She's running in third.
Who's second, Rachel? Oh. Rachel, do you know who was second and third? You're muted here, Rachel.
We're verifying right now. Rena Elmer.
Rena?
You copy that? Yes, sir.
Keep it up, keep it moving.
Do we know who that is?
No, it's a name I'm not aware of, which means we'll probably have her, hopefully, her friends or family chime in on the stream here and give us some background.
Right.
It's always exciting when new blood comes out and mixes it up.
I'm gonna go look her up on the board here.
I would say that of all the years I've seen of this sport, this is the year where the most new faces have made podiums or made impacts on races, which bodes very well for the future of the sport. Okay, this lead is expanding still, Matt. This is significant now.
How many Rena Elmers do you think there are from Flower Mound, Texas?
I would say less than 10.
Because when I show you who this is, you're gonna I'm gonna show you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready to be blown away?
Ran at BYU.
She's 37. She has 9 children.
She run 240 in a marathon.
She has a 240. She qualified for the 2016 trials in the steeplechase. Holy moly.
Ran at BYU and Utah Valley State College.
Look at that.
Is Utah Valley where Hawk is?
We can look that up. We can get Jamie on that. So, wow.
Well, how exciting would that be?
Right? Another new face, another former Olympian or Olympic trials athlete. Do they just keep coming? These steeplechasers and these track athletes just keep coming in, Bracken. Love to see it.
You know, choosing steeplechase is an indication that you're wired differently than the typical runner. And it's an indication that you might be wired correctly to have success in the sport, both physically and mentally.
Well, without being disparaging, Bracken, would it be safe to assume that if you pick steeplechase, it's because you're not the fastest 1600 on your own or 5K or so? You need to do this other thing that requires different skill set?
Historically, yes. That's always the unfortunate knock on steeplechasing, is that you're the best of who chose to do it. But there is a movement, probably over the last 5 years, where very high-level athletes are choosing the steeplechase. Coming out, we had Sean McGorty recently come out of Stanford, get signed by Nike right away, and within a half a year, go into steeplechase. And we've seen some women on the other side do it as well. My hope is that this is the steeple revolution. And eventually we can say, just like the 110 hurdlers are no less of athletes in anyone's mind than the 100-meter dash athletes, that the steeplers will be no different than the milers and the 5K runners.
Got it. Well, clearly they have a place in my heart, because it means that they're more apt to come over and join us.
Oh yeah. Matt, I ran a steeplechase in college, and I can tell you unequivocally that I've never in my life had my legs as fatigued as when I ran a steeplechase. The barriers are not high. The jumps are not big. But if you're running hard enough in between, it doesn't take much to trash you. So they already have that ability to, as we like to say, compromised run. They can run through fatigue, and they can break their rhythm and run, which is one of the biggest skills you can bring over to the sport.
Well, Taylor Overmiller, I'd say a friend of mine. His friend Tasha, his wife Tasha, is running today, doing their first Savage along with her friend Naomi. Well, let's root for Tasha. I actually saw that name, and I wondered if she was related.
That's good detective work. That's doing your homework, Matt.
Well, it's interesting, the things that I remember, certain things I remember, and Taylor Overmiller is hard to forget. So, all right, what are we coming up on here, Lee? You're muted, buddy. You're still muted. Well, I need to have you on my show. I have a lot of questions to ask you, Bracken.
You're going to preview any of them, or are we going to save all that information for a hot mic on your show?
Well, I have. So I've learned an awful lot by listening to you and the Kirkster. You know, you and I come from very different backgrounds. I was not an athlete. I did not know what a middle distance runner was when I started my podcast. I remember the first time somebody said I'm a middle distance runner, and I was like, what does that mean? And so I just continue to learn more and more, and I have many questions.
All right. Well, I like talking.
There's Chris. Can we make a hole for Chris? Can we say, dudes, back of the Packers, get out of the way. I'm the third best 15K in the world right now. Oh, we getting second this close? Is that
Rena?
Made. Is that Rena, our new star?
That's Rena, second place, right on top of Chris.
Ladies and gentlemen.
If anyone out there knows Rena, I'd love to hear how many OCR she has tried prior to this.
Well, we can do the old Athlinks. When I Googled her name, it immediately came up with the on the Runner's World article that you and I looked at. Rena Elmer goes from steeplechase to Olympic marathon trials. Mother of 9. So
I want to interrupt you, Matt, and just highlight the technique difference here between someone who's done it before and someone who hasn't. Chris had very, very narrow bend in her legs. She had almost locked out legs. She's driving a lot of power straight into it, where Rena had her legs very bent and just wasn't able to put as much torque into it. And it's one of those things where it's just time will show her. She'll go back and rewatch the broadcast, hopefully, and she'll watch how Chris went through. But all that being said, she's not very far down.
What's your best 10K time?
You know, I've never run a 10K, Matt. I mean, I've run a 10K. I've never raced a 10K.
Okay. She has a 35:03 here. This is 4 years ago.
Okay. I'd be interested to hear what her time would have been in her prime, because a 2:40 marathon converts to much faster than 35:03, I would say.
Okay, I thought so.
I mean, 35:03 is not slow. That's
right.
What, 17:31 and a half.
But are you looking more for like a 28 or a 29? What are you looking for?
I mean, that'd be a national level man. If a woman gets down under, I would say 34, she is legitimately flying. But even 35:0, that's 17:30 back-to-back 5Ks. And there are a lot of men in this field right here today who would kill to have a 17:35K.
All right, that's Victor. Looks like he had a little bit of a false start. Did we miss Van, or is Van back there somewhere?
No, you did miss.
So Victor got through there fast, though. He had a false start, but once he was on, he was good at that.
So Ben came through with a pretty smooth move, about 28 seconds ahead of Victor.
Okay.
So
I'm going to see if we can get a speed third place.
It was about 30 seconds coming off of pedal to the metal. Pedal for the metal?
Yeah, pedal for the metal. Yeah, and it's been about a 30-second gap for 4 obstacles now.
Okay.
I thought we had third place creeping up on us, but I may have been slowed down by pedal. Oh, here he is.
Well, regardless of what happens at the end of this race, you've got to give us a moment to interview Rena at the end of this race. She was at the trials, which means we saw her. Remember, you and I did a little watch party with the trials?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Bracken, 9 children. That's all I can think about. Do you know how busy
that's
my house?
9 more than I've birthed, and I'm struggling with my fitness, Matt.
How many small people are in your house right now, though?
3. We have 3 children.
Right. And I also have 3. Which means that if you and I were hanging out together, she'd still have 3 more kids.
Oh, man. It's just almost mind-blowing that you can perform at that level with such demands on your time and energy.
That's what I'm saying. So who is this? Is this third or fourth? He's not really seemed to be in a hurry.
Looks kind of new to
Third
it.
place right there, just finished.
I shouldn't say new to it, but turned around and had to, I think, be directed to where to drop them off. So either that was race brain or he's just not as used to it.
So we're going to have a battle here. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, all looking close. I wonder if they know.
A smooth transition.
Wonder if they know how close they are.
I don't think they do.
All right. Maybe at the next obstacle you can tell them.
So after this, I'm gonna walk over to the nearby lumberjack lane loop, and I'll give them an update. Keep turning around.
Looks like a Miles Keller coming in there, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe I am mistaken. Matt, there's a lot made of coming back from childbirth, and rightfully so. But one of the pieces that doesn't get talked about a lot is the actual physical change in structure of the body after giving birth. I mean, we all know what it's like.
Are we qualified to discuss this, Bracken?
No, this is all positive right here.
Okay.
Where like we've all had the experience where something's a little tight in our body or a little out of whack and our hip starts hurting, which causes our knee and our stride, and we're running a little bit differently. Well, there are like several centimeters in movement in a woman's hips after she gives birth that oftentimes does not recede at all. And so basically, not only do you have to get your fitness back, but your stride has to occur in a different pattern than it did before. And that chain reaction of force traveling up from the ground all the way through your hips and into your back happens differently, where that resistance to impact is totally almost eradicated, and you have to relearn it all with a new stride. And there are some women that don't come back from that, and then there are some who do. And to have 9 children,
Dude, she's
and to
right
have-
there. Do you see this?
Yeah,
She's right there with Chris.
it's unbelievable. And people talk about the science that says post childbirth, there's that huge increase in red blood cell count, and you almost have this like superhuman oxygen transport capacity that's like God's gift to women afterwards. Like, you went through all this here. It's like being on EPO for 6 months. Go ahead and take this. And it's a big boost to their running and their cardiovascular system, but they're doing it on a skeletal structure that's actually changed. And that piece right there, I don't know if people get enough credit for being able to get back. Like, it's one thing to get back to a volume of running after an injury, but it's another thing to do it without getting injured, because your hips are actually different than they used to be.
It's hard to tell if Chris does have any kind of hangover, or Rena is just this fast or this proficient.
Yeah, and that's if we didn't know, if you hadn't found that on her, and if it is true what it appears to be, that she was an Olympic trials marathoner, we would think that Chris was having a sluggish day. But when you're getting chased by someone who's, 240's got to put her top 50 to 60 marathoner in the US on any given year. That's a tough order to try to run away from.
Right, and she moved up. She was a steeplechaser, and she moved up.
Mm-hmm. So she has the flat ground wheels needed to stick with her on any flats, and she's got the engine to stick through once things get really bogged down and fatigued. So obviously her question is, like everyone's new question coming in, what happens when you hit the rigs?
Well, I forgot about that. We're going to find out.
And I don't want to cast doom upon her.
Right.
But it really comes down to how many has she done like this before? Well,
and specifically, like if this were just, let's say, a Spartan rig versus what we know is going to be very difficult. Usually I like to be the first on the scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to interview her. I actually would concede. I think you and Kirk would be better to interview her first and learn like nitty gritty about all of her running career, and then I can take a crack at her and talk to her.
Oh, I don't see why we can't both have the same week.
We totally. She
made it through.
God, has she been doing a bunch of savages, guys? Hey, Nick, what's up, buddy?
She went the wrong way, though.
Uh-oh. Well,
she probably ran 20 feet the wrong direction with her rings.
Well, nothing popped up in Athlinks, which is usually where the other obstacle races appear. Let me try again.
How great would this be if there's two people with her name in Texas?
It's gotta be her.
Yeah, it has to be.
This can't be her first Savage, though, right? Like maybe she's been doing open. Can't be, right? She's doing this well.
She's showing signs that she's done OCR before, but then she's showing signs there, like not knowing where to return the rings, which is a really understandable problem if there's not someone there yelling at you which way to go and you haven't done it before. All right, here we get to see her on a rig.
Is this it?
This isn't the rig, but this is rig-ish. Or is this the rig?
No, this is Holy Sheets or Sheety
No,
Road.
that's Battering
This
Bird.
is Battering Bird.
Battering
There you
Bird.
go.
She can swing through.
One more time.
Oh, she missed. Uh-oh.
The fact that she can hang on to the battering birds.
I know,
and
but she might have just pumped too hard, dude. I hope she
for sure. But I feel like you are your third race. That was something Matt Novakovic told me back in the day. You are your third race. Like whatever happens in your first race, it's a freebie. And your second one is now you come in knowing you have things to worry about and things to work on, and you almost think too much. But by your third one, you get an accurate shot of who you could be in this sport. And so, yeah, maybe she blows out her grip here and has trouble, but she's showing the skill set necessary to do it on her second
but
or third
she
try.
hung so long in the middle there, and we thought this might happen at the very end anyway. But I would have liked to see her get that close, that deep in the race. But this looks like it might be giving her trouble. Not that it's over necessarily, but
no, it's not. But even if it is, it almost means nothing to me
because it's her first race, and you're going to give her a pass
for sure. And how would you know? How would you know how bad a restart's going to affect you? And like she's swinging again, the fact that she's gripping onto these and swinging, monkey swinging through here means that she has the actual grip strength to do these things, maybe just not some of the technical acumen yet. And that can be learned. One trip to her local ninja gym, she gets it.
Yeah, she needs to shake it out and not go right back now. And she doesn't know that yet. She keeps retrying. Give a quick shout out, my buddy Justin here. Justin attempted an Everesting yesterday.
Did he really?
19 laps of a 1,550 feet, 2.5 mile climb. And he had to bail because there was bears at night. I'm not kidding.
I wouldn't call that quitting. So congratulations, Justin.
Well, he and his wife, LB, they, took a long time to find this place. Like, we live in Georgia. How do you find a place where it's got the elevation and you can take a car ride down? Because if you have to run down, forget it, right?
So he was running up, car ride down each loop?
Yeah. Because otherwise, you kill yourself and it would take, much longer. So, like Atkins can do that in a day. Most of us can't.
Do you remember his week he did? Where he Everested every day on different implements back to back to back. He did running and he did biking, and I thought he did something else as well.
Right, like unicycle or something.
Probably.
Well, if we're back on this obstacle, if we're back here. Are we still?
I'm holding it down at. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
So where Rena is where the third place male is.
Well, no, I'm at the third place male now, and I'm going to hang here to catch the first three females coming through.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong. My bad. You are at
Sawtooth.
You're at Sawtooth. My mistake.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a battle here for third, fourth, and fifth on the male side. The lead on first and second is still the same, and very shortly here we'll have Chris McGlosky approaching. And then the second and third place females will be shortly behind that. Our other coverage is going to switch to the male side and try and catch them over at the real world and rig area.
Meg Julian's now in second.
Meg Julian is now in second. She's passed Rena Elmer. Okay, so Ian Hosick just did one of my big pet peeves. Just tuned in. Who's in the top 5? So if you watch the show, we're going to tell you what's happening. We might not say it the second you pop on, but this is you as a patient human being just goes, I think I'm going to tune in. These guys are probably going to talk about it. We're usually in the middle of something else. This happens constantly in live coverage. Just tuned in. Who's winning? It's like, well, watch the show. Hang in there. Be patient. Don't be so selfish.
Maybe he's submitting it to the community at large.
I know, but even submitting it to the community, it never fails.
Look at that person flying through. Got
the other one is here's the men, where's the women? Or here's the women, where's the men? It's like, guys, just give us a moment. We're going to bring you everything you need.
You know what? I fully understand that. And I'm going to say the opposite side, which is how cool is it that in our sport, we have pro level racers tuning into these races and are genuinely interested in what's going on. They're giving up their
now you just made me look like a dick then, Bracken, with your positive attitude.
Just other side of the coin, which is, imagine if this was a local triathlon and Lionel Sanders tuned in and right away is like, what's the rankings? Where are we at? People would be losing their minds. I think it's pretty cool that people give up their Saturday morning to be a part of these races.
I love you, Ian.
I thought you were going to say Ian tuned in and said, yeah, I know this woman. I'm coaching her. Here's your backstory.
That's what we need, Ian. Ian, are you coaching Rena Elmer from Texas?
And or any of her 9 kids. Because at this point, some of them have to be old enough to run Savage. Speaking of children, have you seen Josiah Middaugh, his family?
No.
So he does a good job posting on about his kids running. And even me, who spends 0 time on social media, I've seen a few of his stories. He had I don't know if he coaches or just assists with their high school cross country team, but his sons just both ran 15:20s to take first and second place in a cross country race last week. It was like 15:24 and 15:26 or something.
Do you go sideways up these, Bracken?
When I'm trashed, I go sideways up it and then hand over hand down. And when I'm feeling good, I go backwards and try to do what we saw that guy in the grid jersey do, just that speed hands up and then transition and turn.
What would an advantage be to going backwards? Because Jung Young Pak was the first guy to show me that at Tough Mudder. Like, oh, we'll go, if you turn around, you're using the different muscle groups, and then you can turn back around for the way down.
I think when you're trying to move your hands as fast as possible and you're not needing to match meaning left hand on, right hand grabs the same bar before moving on. If you're strong enough and you have quick hands, you can pull up one hand over the next one fast going backwards, but going forwards, it's hard to really generate that power, because going backwards, you can pull down into the bar, but going forwards, you have to kind of pull away from it to move yourself upwards. It just doesn't transfer power as well. It's crazy how just a slight incline like this totally changes the dynamic of getting through. So you can see this guy's matching, and you can see that you just can't really progress.
He's not matching. He's not touching the same bar.
Technically no, but he's not moving. He's not crossing over.
Now he's matching on the way down.
Yeah. And there he starts crossing over, but you just can't progress quickly up there while you're matching or while you're not crossing over, but it's also extremely safe that way.
Our first place female is about 15, 20 seconds away.
And it highlights what grip does to you on course. If you're strong enough to take chances, you get off there in half the time. And if you're not strong enough to take chances, you have to spend so much more time on there, and then you have to grip so many more times, and it just taxes you twice as much as the other person. So you come in with less grip strength and you leave having taxed yourself even more, and it just adds up. So finally, by the time you get to the rig at the end, maybe you were capable of doing it a half hour ago, but you spend twice as much time on obstacles as the people that have an abundance of grip strength. So she's going to go forward and skip. And you see how you kind of have to drive all your power from your shoulders going uphill that way, where the other way you can use your back and your biceps to fly up. She's so smooth. She makes everything look easy. In fact, I'm upset that she came through and did that.
Yeah, I'm on 10 seconds.
That destroys everything I was saying about how it shouldn't be fast and efficient to go forwards, and she just made it look super fast and easy. So thanks a lot, Chris.
Yeah, she'll make it look super fast and easy, and then finish the race, volunteer all day, and then work and be the last one out.
Yeah.
She's kind of the bomb. So I'm at over 30 seconds now for this lead.
Yeah, and this is going to be a 3-minute lead minimum, I would guess, because Meg is the next one up, and we watched probably a minute of retries before Meg got there last time. So at this point, the race is blown wide open.
So are we here at the rig, the final rig? Rachel, we're frozen here.
Yeah, so Teresa, Rachel should be getting coverage at the rig right about now.
It's frozen, unfortunately.
Let's take a guess. Is this Victor on the rig here?
I can't tell. I was seeing if there was a woman coming in. So we're at over a minute, almost minute and a half already. See if we can get Rachel to reboot her computer or something.
Let's talk about
Copy.
Chris for a second, Matt.
Sure.
She is young.
Correct.
24.
I can look her up.
She's got to be ±1 from 24, which means that on the female side of the sport, she is one of the younger athletes to have this level of success. It's
Athletes has her as 24, so she's at most 24 because, right?
Yeah, I think they use your end of the year age on there, right?
Right.
Yeah, so 24 years old, made a world championship podium, has multiple wins here. She wasn't the VJ who came on the scene at 17, but suddenly she's not much older than him, and she's having almost comparable levels of success this year. It really, really bodes well for her future. The fact that she came in with obstacle proficiency and some decent running as well. And now she has she can spend a decade working on her running and she's still only going to be 34.
Well, and she hasn't even decided what she likes the best. She's podiumed at DECA. She's doing 100 milers. She hasn't even decided what she likes the most. So future is wide open. As we're getting a look at the finish line here, I guess we're waiting for the first man to come through.
And that's the other crazy part. I mean, it kind of speaks to the resiliency of youth, but also to her mindset and her physical preparation. And that of all the people who made world championship podiums, she has to be the only person there who didn't make it like her big A taper for the year. She just went out and did ultras and went out and did DECA and went out and did more ultras and showed up and took third place in the world. I can't speak to what she did in training, but in terms of her race schedule, she didn't set herself up for success at Worlds. She just came and stole it. And that's wild. You're going against some of the best in the sport who prepared for it as if it were all that mattered.
First place coming in.
Van Tran just had the race of his year.
Yes, sir.
I've not seen him look so strong on the running for an entire race yet this year. He's had some strong starts, but he put it to him, to this field from start to finish.
Matt, I have second place female about 15 seconds out.
Okay, so that's like over 3 minutes, maybe closer to 4. I stopped looking. Who do we got for second place male?
So we're waiting on Victor, theoretically. So Matt, while we wait, today potentially highlights something I've been curious about. I think we see Victor running up now, so I'll give him a second to finish. I think this is him approaching barn doors.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay, so Victor is one of the people who is an early adopter of super shoes. He loves them. He's raced a stadium race in them. He's raced a DECA. He's raced High Rocks. My assumption is then that people who race in them train in them because they do make your body work differently in a different form. Is this Vic coming through here?
Come on, Meg.
So Victor nails a podium here. But my worry always with super shoes, Matt, is that if you do a lot of your training in them and they promote an incredibly light, efficient form, foot strike, they turn you over really well. When you don't have them, has that practiced form sunk in to the point where you can't do it without the shoe? And then what happens then when you go off-road? Where they have some trail super shoes, but they're not as good and they're not very stable and they're not really useful.
Just so people are clear, you mean the carbon?
Yeah, super foam with carbon plates in them. And so they take care of a lot of the mechanical work of running for you.
Can I get the
So when you get off road, they're useless and you can't wear them. And then you have a light, minimal, flexible shoe. I'm of the belief
third, fourth,
that
and fifth.
you're using a stride off road that you haven't been able to practice much. So I'm not saying that this is Victor, but Victor reminds me of this, where there's a chance that you get to a race and you have to use a stride and a way of engaging your muscles that you really haven't even been using in practice because the shoes do something so different for you. And I'm very curious to hear from people like Vic or other people in the off-road running community who also spend time training in super shoes, if that skill set carries over or if it's a totally different stride. And maybe today he kind of almost felt betrayed by his legs, where I couldn't run the same way because I haven't practiced this motion.
Right.
And maybe I'm just reading way too far into everything and it's totally fine.
So we don't know who's in third, and we're pretty sure we've got second place. First place is Chris. Second place, we believe, is Meg, and we don't know who's in third. We're working on all this.
Here comes third place approaching.
Male.
You can see him through the slats here.
I cannot see him. You have better eyes than me. Who is that?
Well, now I'm second guessing myself, Matt.
I think it's because you're looking at golden hour. I think you were confused.
It's golden hour. No, there's someone moving.
Lee, where are you?
Someone's right there approaching, one stride off.
There he is. Now there he is. We need to find out. Rachel, find out who this is for us. Oh, you know what else I can do? I can go to the old finish line results.
Working on it.
Okay.
So to finish my thought, Matt, I've done some work in super shoes, testing them out. We did a whole episode on the podcast of comparing super shoes and how well do they really work. And what I found is that they work so well that they allow you to get a little lazy in your stride and that you don't have to engage the whole way through because they do a lot of the work for you. And on a course like this or anything that's technical or off-road, the moment you get your stride lazy, you just stop running fast. And you have to engage the whole way.
Starter. So Daniel Geary, does that name ring a bell for you?
No, it does not.
Well, let's look him up because that's who we got right now.
Well, congratulations, Daniel. He fought off a pack of 3 or 4 other people to take that spot. People must have got hung up somewhere unless he made a crazy charge, because we still haven't had the next person on. They're approaching now. Now we're starting to see multiple people approaching this wall at the end.
Whoop. Shit. Sorry. So we're going to have a battle for fourth, we think?
Not a battle, but a closer spread here. One's coming off as another's approaching. You know, I thought we'd see Benny out here this weekend.
Where's Benny? Well, he's working, like I said.
Oh, yeah, he is traveling. But Dallas is home to him. Not currently, I don't believe, but historically, and I thought we'd see him. This might have been his day. Get up in the mix.
First place on the rig.
First place woman. We are frozen again, Rachel, unfortunately.
As she enters the ice water here. Now, on a hot day, this is a fantastic obstacle to hit.
Correct.
This buys you another quarter mile of running before you have to think about how hot it is. On a cold day, it is the beginning of the end for a lot of people. But on a day like this, it just is an instant refresh to your system. Good. Someone got VIP parking.
Someone was asking if that's Dylan. It is, in fact, Dylan in fourth.
Distant cousin of Benjamin.
Is that? Do we know that for a fact?
It can't be, but it would be fantastic if it was. Benjamin Morin Boucher would be the
that guy. Got it. Right.
The Canadian version of one of the most underrated athletes in the sport. That guy is an absolute animal, and I don't think he gets his due credit.
All right, I'm at the Savage rig now. I jumped ahead a little bit to make sure I can catch the females coming through.
Okay, yeah, because your signal's a lot better than hers. Your signal's a lot better. I wonder if our friend ever made it through the other obstacle. Holy sheets, or not holy sheets,
so.
but twirly bird. Twirly bird.
You know, if she didn't, I hope she gave up her band and finished out the rest of the course. Not for like a spirit of sport kind of thing, but just to get reps on things. When you're new to the sport, and again, this is me maybe ignorantly assuming that she's very new to this, but when you're new to a sport like this, just time on obstacle is huge.
So we're getting our first. We're getting our first look at this. We actually, the men, we didn't see this earlier, so let's keep it here. Let's keep it locked here as we watch men attempt.
This is a difficult mount.
All right. Well, he used his feet to bring it over. That was smart. Yeah. And then he told us the cheese. Then he told us the cheese board isn't going to move anymore. Did he say something like that?
Yeah, he said it was cranked down,
but it's very tight. It's much
you can see those chains strung up way high into the outside, supporting that cheese board. Can you put feet on cheese board? Is that a thing?
I think he just told him no. I think he just yelled at him.
If so, we should have been doing that for all season long. This low bar to start off is kind of genius because typically someone with decent wingspan or obstacle proficiency would just swing one arm off the bar, grab the rope with the other hand and pull through. But you would have to hit, look at this, so low on the rope that now it sets you up to be low, close to the ground. And you got to climb up a little bit to get high enough on the sheet here to make it worth it. And it's just a very taxing process. If that bar were up higher, you could just swing out comfortably, but that's intelligent obstacle design right there. I appreciate that.
This guy finally figured it out. Oh, and it's got the pulley there at the end.
That's a mean little trick.
Oh, there you go. Nice job, that guy. Well, hopefully your friends will tell you to come back and watch that.
First place, Chris, approaching Scornhole.
And you can see this low grab on the sheet and on the rope. It's a tough one. There are some things where you can get through it with the grip strength you have, but if any other variable gets thrown in, it just eradicates your grip right away.
So if Chris went, sorry to interrupt. If Chris is at Scornhole, that means she's already come through here.
Yeah, we saw her hop off the edge of it in a glitch, and then she was running away on the next.
All right, so let's just keep it here because Chris is going to win. Yeah, Chris is going to win. Let's stay here, though. I'd rather see the second and third place women. Sorry, no offense, Chris, but you won. Great job. Now let's see the battle for second and third.
Is this guy going to make a run and a jump? He's backing up like he's going to make an approach here.
This guy?
Oh, just a swing out. There he is. Got a little higher up on there. Ooh, grabbed above the sheet. I don't know about that. Okay, Matt, I'm curious on this for you. We saw in Tahoe and West Virginia and a few places where when there's a hanging obstacle like that, some people will just grab above it on the connection and go through. Does that align with spirit of the obstacle with you, or is that totally unacceptable?
I guess I'd have to know what the rule is in the first place. So here's
I'm
Meg.
saying regardless of rule, if you're going to hang a sheet, is it
Meg Julian at the rig.
is that the purpose of the obstacle, or is it find any way through, even if it means grab the chain above the sheet? If there were no rules, are you a spirit of the obstacle guy, or are you any way through?
I don't think I can answer it that broadly. I would say that, do you see a significant advantage by grabbing the above part? Because I don't.
It depends on what the apparatus is. Meg made a good pass there. She used the sheet to readjust her grip and then skipped it entirely. That's the kind of in the moment obstacle piece that.
Did her feet just touch?
I don't know. I didn't see it. I don't know if she's tall enough to touch from there.
Okay, I guess it could be the golden hour messing with my eyes again.
Golden hour.
Nice work.
All right, so nice job, Meg. So now we battle to see who comes in third. Let me go up here to my results banner, update it.
Anyway, to answer your question, there are some things like a sheet where gripping above, if the attachment piece is wide and stable, it's absolutely easier. But then it's like, why even have a sheet if you can grab above it? All right, do we have two women on here at the same time now? Going for third and fourth? Someone in the blue on the left or dark, and then someone in orange on the right?
What?
No, just wanted this time.
Lee, you just left the stream, buddy. What's going on? What's going on?
I'm back. We just have one here right now.
There's two. There's one orange on the right.
Someone in dark
got a
with
little
those
bit of a late
multicolor
lead.
shorts here on the left.
All right, get her name after she finishes.
Teresa, you got names for these guys?
This person
Third
looks
was what? I don't remember.
smooth.
Yes, she does.
Okay, that goes potentially third.
Forney,
We don't know
you want
that.
fourth.
I'm sorry?
Third place. Let's go.
Naomi Tucker. Naomi Tucker is fourth.
Who's third, though? Who's
Working
that
on
right in
third.
front of her?
It's a battle for third place.
Is that
Can
is that
you follow
Maria?
them? Can you follow them?
We can just go to yank my chain.
Go to yank my chain.
Yeah,
in the
we're
car.
following them. Go ahead, over
Get in the
to
car.
Cheers, guys, please. Thank you.
Okay.
So we got a battle here. Podium spot on the line. And then how much money do you get for that? I don't remember. Bracken.
Life-changing amounts, no matter what it is. You know what I've stopped doing is I've stopped keeping up on podium payouts now that I'm not racing this year. And that's poor form of me, Matt. I need to stay up on top of that for this exact moment.
So
here we go. She ran her down a bit. We've got a battle coming into this. Oh, they're going to come off this at almost the exact same time.
we are going to have a battle, and they've got to do like a little barn doors, I think, at the end, and then that's it.
Is this it? Is this just a sprint to the finish?
No, there's a barn doors. They started throwing that in at the end.
Right, but just one wall and a sprint, a wall and a sprint?
I think so.
No cargo netting or anything.
They have Scornhole and then bar doors.
Sorry, Scornhole. So you could miss a Scornhole. That could be the difference maker. You could miss a Scornhole here.
Would this be the first time in Savage Race history where Scornhole is the make or break obstacle?
We're about to find out.
I say this, I feel like every single broadcast, but this is what I really appreciate about Savage is that even if you know every obstacle you're going to hit, you hit it in such a different way each time that it's not like just this programmed course that you memorize and do the same way every time. Because in the past, Scornhole doesn't matter as much. Yeah, it's nice to get it on your first try, but if you don't, what do you lose a second or two? But here at the end of the race, suddenly it's make or break. And it's a simple obstacle that gets a whole lot more difficult when someone's right next to you and there's only 100 or 200 meters left in the race. I love it. We got a barbed wire move, an aggressive move being made here.
Well, it's just to go around some dudes as well.
children on course. This is the full experience here. Almost got run into. Oh, well, at least both women got impeded by that kid.
Right. There's no unfair advantage.
Which is kind of unacceptable. If you're going to take your kid out on course, you got to keep them out of the way of the pro people coming through.
So Carlos was saying Miranda Huber in third. I thought that was the person they said was in fourth.
No, I think Miranda was third coming off of there.
So they said another name that was in fourth that I can't think of.
The woman in orange with the tattoos is the one I don't recognize.
Second place female approaching Scornhole.
Second place is Meg. Meg's already come through, I thought. Well, I guess we're about to find out.
I guess so.
Second place is Meg, and she's not come through yet. She's coming up the Scornhole right now.
All right, so the gap is not crazy, but as long as she makes this, second place is hers. There it is.
All right.
I mean, anything could happen.
There you go, Meg.
She is now second place.
Right. And there's the finish right there. They do.
Right.
So here we go. So battle for third and fourth.
Unless she loses her band on that wall. Look at this. This is a good spread from second to fourth. This is not a blowout. First place was a blowout. The rest, this is a battle.
Here they come.
Oh, look at this move being made.
Can we get the sound on, Rachel? I'd like to hear this.
Look at her finishing off. This is how you finish a race.
All right, let's see, ladies. This is for third place.
First
She
attempt.
was 2 strides down entering this. Uh-oh, we got a
the
miss.
First attempt.
Oh,
She made it. There we go.
Go, this is for third place.
She made it as well.
Good job. Oh, man.
oh, it's such a terrible feeling
job,
knowing you might
ladies.
run out of
Go,
ground.
Keep going. Who wants it more?
She's got to jump. She's got to take a chance.
More. All righty. Congratulations.
Wow.
We got to see a nice battle. Now let's get their names.
We just saw Scornhole decide the race. One weighted heavy ball toss was the difference between those two women.
I hate to talk to people as soon as they're done racing, but let's see if we can find out.
Hey.
What the heck just happened? Rachel, see if you can find out for us.
Matt, was that our closest fourth place finish we've ever had, third and fourth this season?
So far, yes.
And the woman who took fourth in orange there, I hope we get her name soon because it's disrespectful for her just to be called the woman in orange.
Correct. Even though we did call a guy Red Pants for a long time.
Yes, we did. Robbie Red Pants. She was several strides behind on each of the last few obstacles and made a really gutsy move and got to Scornhole first. So even though she didn't come home with third, she put in the effort necessary to steal third place, to claim that. And she was just one Scornhole toss away. That's a huge effort. She's not going to get any money or podium for it, but
Miranda is third or fourth?
Yeah, I'm headed there now.
Third place, Miranda. Huber.
And then fourth was who? We had it earlier and I forgot it already.
Oh, she's going to be kicking herself for that Scornhole miss. One missed toss, Matt, and then not quite enough time to run her back down.
Naomi. Taylor's saying Naomi. I'm going to trust Taylor. I'm going to go for it.
Meg's new hair color paid off for her today. That was a fantastic performance. She looked good today.
Who did he say that was?
Naomi. Wonder if we can get Lee's camera down here to the finish. Because I don't think we'll be able to get any audio from them on this one.
What's happening here, Bracken?
This Texas feed is not wanting us here any longer.
Naomi Campbell was fourth. Who was fourth?
Naomi is the name we kept getting tossed at the end there.
Okay. Well, we wanted to get some interviews if we could. I'm trying to pull up these results as well on their leaderboard, and it's not popping. Why is it not popping up? Oh, because I got to go to all, I believe. All results. So Chris, Meg, Miranda Humer, Naomi Tucker, not Naomi Campbell. That's the famous supermodel. Hey now.
My phone just kind of
Where's
exploded
our
there for a second.
It's okay. Where's our friend the Olympian?
Was that Rena?
He has Rena back there still somewhere. Does Rachel want to talk to us? Do you want to talk to us, Rachel?
Yeah, I can talk. What do you mean?
It looks like you were trying to talk to me.
No, it's on our faces. That's why. Oh my goodness.
All right. Why don't we talk with? Why don't you bring us over here to talk with Meg and is that Miranda or Naomi?
Naomi.
Throw this in.
Hey, Meg, what's up?
Can you hear them?
Oh, hi. Is that Mike P. Davis?
It sure is.
Oh, hi, buddy.
What's happening? It's me and Bracken.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Bracken. How's it
Congrats.
going?
Great race out there today.
Thank you. That was fun. That was a fun course. Yeah.
When did you separate from them?
That's a great question. I think we went out hot because Savage Race, I know that the first 2 or 3 miles have kind of easier obstacles. And I'm here with 3 friends. So I was very motivated to go out hot. So I just went out super fast. I think there were probably 4 of us in the beginning. I think it was Miranda, or no, there's another girl in a red sports bra top. But Chris went out out, and then there was someone that was with her for, she said the first 3 miles. I lost them so fast. So I was battling this other woman. I probably lost her at 2 miles. And then I thought there was still 1, 2 ahead of me, and then I got to Sawtooth. My friend was like, "You're in second place." I have no idea where I passed her. But I'll take it. It's fine.
Go ahead, Matt.
Oh no, I was just going to say congratulations and see if we could chat with Miranda or Naomi, whoever else is still around.
Absolutely.
First,
Yeah,
though,
absolutely.
give
One
us a
second.
shot of that side of your head again. Let's see that.
I was gonna say, do I still look like a rooster?
No, let me see the side shot again. What's
All right,
that? What do you got going?
This one, this was for Worlds. This was Mark Barber's Italian, so I told him to do the flag or stars and stripes, and this is what he did, which is great. Give him a little creative leniency, but so yeah, just the stars and stripes, and then this side is my longhorn, and it was red for Worlds for USA, and then it's faded to a lovely burnt orange for Texas.
Do you think you could tell Bracken that had he listened to the Obstacle Racing Media podcast, he would already know this?
No.
I wasn't
Matt gives a
asking
very
for
good
clarification.
interview.
I wanted the viewers to see the art.
No, I know.
It is. Isn't it beautiful? It's
we did talk about we did talk about this in Vermont. So, but yeah, if any of your other females are nearby, we'd love to chat with them real quick.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations,
I'm sure we can
and this will probably be the only victory for the Longhorns today.
Oh! I was like, hey, Miranda, you want to be interviewed? Here you go. I'll talk to Matt and Bracken.
It's Matt and Bracken.
All right. Hello.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you vaguely. Can I turn it up somehow? How do I do that?
Do you wanna
Oh, that's better.
you wanna take us through like approaching Scornhole to the finish?
Oh my gosh, that was just crazy. I think her name's Naomi. So she passed me right before scoring hole. I was already dying, and she just kicked it up a little bit more. And I was like, oh, I have to die even harder. And she missed her first scoring hole. And I think had she not missed that first one, I don't know if I would have overtaken her. But I hit mine first try, and then she must have hit it right behind me. And we came over the barn doors almost the same time. I was just a second or two ahead of her, and just sprinted as hard as I could through the finish, and I was just hoping it paid off, and it did. So pretty exciting.
Is your thought at that moment, I must come in third, or I hope I'm not fourth?
Historically, I finished fourth, like more than anything else. So at this point, it's almost like comfortable to finish fourth. Like I almost come to expect it. Had I come in fourth, it would have just been like, oh, look, what a surprise. Another fourth. I always joke that, like, if you're betting on me, you should probably bet I'll take fourth. So I wouldn't have been disappointed either way, but obviously because I get so many fourths, breaking that threshold is extra exciting. So I know that I feel like I'm pretty good at like sprinting to the finish a lot of the time. So I thought that if I could just go over the doors a second faster, I didn't think that anybody could overtake me on the sprint. So yeah, I would have been fine either way, but obviously third's a little bit sweeter.
Well, congrats.
Thank you. I always watch your live feed for the Savage races almost every Saturday morning when you guys have them, turn it on. And so it's kind of extra exciting to like be the one in the feed this week. So thank
Love
you guys
it.
for doing the
That's
coverage.
awesome. Dude, that's so awesome. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can you want to grab Chris behind you real quick?
Yes.
He's got all kinds of stuff to say.
The official passing of the power beats.
Yeah.
These power beats have been 100% sanitized for COVID-19.
100% sanitized. All right.
You can't
Chris.
catch it through your ears. That's science.
Chris R.
Yes. Yep. I can hear.
It's Matt and Bracken. Do you know who was on your heels those first 3 miles?
I have no idea. Who was it? Y'all know?
What if I told you she's a 240 marathoner and former Olympic trials athlete?
That makes a lot of sense because she was running insanely fast. That's what I kept up. On the tempo wall was where I got up on top and she's still right behind me. And I was like, what are you doing here? I took her like one extra time. She was shorter, so I was like, okay, tempo wall, I got her. She got over that, no problem. It wasn't until we hit the rigs that I was like, she's finally not right behind me. That's a fast lady. What happened to her? Do you know? She's still on the rig?
Yeah, she actually struggled on Twirly Bird, but
Okay.
but we think this might be her first race, so we can't wait to talk to her. But she might be future competition. Bracken, what questions or insights do you have for our winner today?
I guess more of a compliment. We had talked about the potential of a post-Worlds kind of letdown where it's tough to maybe get back up for the next one. But I didn't see any of that out there today. So congratulations on clearing that first hurdle after your major breakthrough.
Thank you.
And again, I haven't seen you since Worlds. Congratulations. That was an outstanding performance.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was fun.
What about oh Jesus.
That
Jesus.
was shocking.
That was horrible.
I see Matt and Bracken, but
Nope, I don't see
I
him.
guess they're not there.
We're here.
We can't see him.
Hello.
Oh, there they are.
So my curiosity is what's next? You've had a long season. I don't know if there's anyone who has maybe ever in the history of our sport had such a wild, varied, long style of race season. So what is next for you?
Next is going to be well, I wasn't really sure. I guess now is as good a time as ever. I'm actually going to the Spartan Games in 1 week. So that's
No
what's next.
way!
Congratulations.
Woo! That's
So
awesome.
yep, that's what's next. And then I'm
Breaking
coming home
news.
and I'm gonna do a Ultra Beast and my first Ironman, a half Ironman. That's
Of course.
and then the next. Yep,
Yeah.
we're doing
Yeah,
an
the
Ultra
classic
weekend.
progression.
Yep. I got it figured out.
Do you plan on taking an off season, or is like Ironman your off season and then you get back to OCR?
I'm taking December mostly off. I say mostly, like I might do a couple ultras, but it'll be I don't really have any OCRs planned.
Take it off except for a couple ultras.
I'm doing a couple 100-milers, and then other than that, I mean, it's just gonna be running. So
yeah.
that'll be it.
Well, that doesn't sound like off, but if anyone can handle it, I think you've proven that you can.
That's the goal.
Well, I'm super stoked to see you in the Spartan Games. I assume we'll get to see that in December, January, whenever they air it. But that's
January.
rad,
Is what they're telling us. January is what
Okay.
they're telling us so far.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Breaking news. That's it.
Breaking news. Bracken, where's your breaking news sound effects?
Da-da-da.
Blackie.
All right. See you later, Chris. Good job.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.
That was Sports Center top 10 sound. That was a fail on my part.
That's horrible.
What would you say is a breaking news effect? I don't know if I've ever been more taken aback in my life than interviewing Chris Roglowski.
Wow.
The screen goes black and we come back to his beard on screen.
All right. I think we're going to say goodnight. I'm going to ask you, though. I'll ask you this question before we wrap it up. I was going to ask you after, but I'm going to ask you now. Chris, like just glowing, right? Always smiling, does well, volunteers, the whole thing, right?
Mhm.
Amazing. If you were her coach, would you say you kind of can't race 30 races a year if you want to continue this? Or would you say, hey, man, it's working. Let's go with what's working. What do you say?
I think it really comes down to her motivation. Like, is she trying to enjoy sport as much as possible, or is she trying to make a living as a pro? Because if we're not signing contracts and we're not getting big sponsorships and we're not trying to make 50,000 in prize money a year, then enjoy it. It's such a painful sport anyways. Go do what makes you happy. But if you're trying to have your maximum performance, no, you can't have your off season be 200-mile races, and you can't go from Ironman to DECA to Savage to Spartan Games. No, you can't do that to be at your maximum capacity for any given race. So I don't know. You don't want to limit a wild horse, though. Sometimes they're best when they're just galloping free.
Well, we don't see anybody with that kind of range outside of Atkins, do we?
Yeah. Ryan Atkins. And I would say John Albin and Robert Killian would be the next two up in order.
Women, though.
I think Lindsay's shown she can. I think
Lindsay admittedly hates like the 12-hour stuff, though.
Hates it, but can.
Right.
And Rhea hates the short stuff, but can.
Right.
But I don't know if I've ever seen anyone as gleeful about it as Chris Roglowski.
Right.
She's special. She's truly special. And when you see that, I don't think you can fake that mindset, that happy-go-lucky on course when things are bad. So I think that mindset itself is self-sustaining. She has the rare ability to smile into pain and into discomfort, which is really, really kind of a superpower.
Well, and I just think you can't, she's like, you can't, like, that's who she is as a person. Like, she's not, like, we all know people that are trying to smile through their teeth and they're not, you know what I mean? That's just generally who she is.
And there's that danger that if that's who she is, and if she feeds off that life energy of constantly jumping race to race, there are some athletes who you put them on the ideal program and the ideal stripped down race schedule and they get worse. There are some people who, when they quit their day job and go all in on training, get worse. Some people need that constant stimulation of work and excitement in their life. And maybe she's just that person.
Well,
but she's 24.
Which we love to see. We keep seeing these people, come over, as they say, and
Mhm.
now we're finally seeing people come up through.
It's well said.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So at 34, at 38, will she have the same race schedule? Time will tell. But she's young. I mean, Dylan Scott's another person that reminds me of this. He's doing crazy volume in training. He's young. Time will tell where this leads these people.
Well, let us wrap it up with the remainder of the schedule here. What do we got? Just 2 more. It says Central Texas. So I'm not sure exactly what city that is.
It's either San Antonio or Austin, right?
Right. And then the big end of the year 2-dayer in Florida. They only do that in Florida where they do both days. Like the Blitz. I think they might have a payout for Blitz. We should find out.
Yeah, historically, that Blitz, the big one, gets that payout as well.
But I thought they also did, or did they do it at the first one of the year, though?
I thought they did 1 or 2 others, and I didn't know if there was a payout for the second.
Well, October 22nd, Central Texas, which is, let's see, what city does it say? I'm so bad at this.
I thought you passed it. Go up a little bit.
There's Sam. Hey, Sam, what's up, buddy? Well, listen, it's always a pleasure to do this with you, buddy.
It's my pleasure as well, Matt. There's no better way to start my weekend.
I concur. And if people want to find Bracken, the Running Public puts out episodes twice a week, as far as I know. Is that correct?
Twice a week, every week.
And
we missed one 2 weeks ago.
All right. And you can find all things Obstacle Racing Media at Obstacle Racing Media on all the fun platforms. So we will see you next time.
And hopefully tune in between, catch up on the state of the sport, and then we're going to race.
We are?
Well, we're going to host the next race in
okay.
Texas.
All right. See you later, buddy.